Today we're going to do questions 32 through 42 on the STAAR 2019 release test. And 32 says, which of the graph appears to show a proportional relationship between x and y? We know that proportional relationships are equations that are direct variation, or they are also just y equals mx or kx, where they have a passing through 0, 0. And so we're just looking for the one that has a passing through the origin, which is 0, 0. And here you can see F is the only one that has that. So F will be our answer. 33 says, the points on the number line represent the values of 4 different numbers. Which point best represents the value of square root of 3? This is just a calculator problem. Square root of 3 is approximately 1.73205. And so we know 3.7 is not exactly in the middle, right? So it can't be B and it can't be A, and it obviously can't be D. So the answer would be C, point C. 34 says the side lengths of a base of a triangular prism are 5 meters, 8 meters, and 10 meters. The height of the prism is 6.5. What is the lateral surface area of the prism in square meters? So for the lateral surface area, LS, it would be PH. And so the base here would be that triangle. And so we're looking for the perimeter of the triangle, which would be 8 plus 5 plus 10, which would be 23, and the height of the prism, which is 16.5. So we're going to multiply those together. And get 379.5. And that is the surface, the lateral surface area. Okay, so it's basically just the bases here. Number 35 says the table shows a linear relationship between the number of hours Francis worked, which is X, and the number of money Francis earned, which is Y. And put X, Y. Based on the table, how much did Francis earn per hour? So per hour is slope, which is what we're trying to find. Best thing you can do is just find the slope between two values. This would be the change of X, the change of Y over the change of X. And so for the change of X, we are adding 2.5. And for the change of Y, we are adding, let's see how much we're adding, 52.50 minus 17.5. And to get what I want to know is I'm just subtracting 52.50 minus 17.5, and that will give me a 35. So we're adding 35. So my change of Y is 35, and my change of X is 2.5. I can reduce that to 35 divided by 2.5, and I should get 14. And 14 will be per hour, so B is going to be my answer. 36, four triangles are shown. One side of each triangle lies on an array, and the triangles are not drawn on a scale. Based on these triangles, which statement is X? Which statement about X is true? So, X is equal to 160 because 180 minus 130. Okay, here's X. Okay, we're trying to find X. So let's see what X is. So we know that if we want to have the external angle, we can just add the two remote angles, and that will be our X. So if we add 130 plus 30, it will give us 160. So this angle is 160. So I know X is not that, it's not that, and it's not that either. Let's just see. Yeah, F would be our answer. 37, the scatter plot shows the time spent playing a video game and the number of points scored by several students. Based on the scatter plot, which is the best prediction of the number of points scored by a student who spends 45 minutes playing the video game? So this is, we're trying to find a prediction, so we're doing a trend line here. And then we're going to 45 minutes, go up to the trend line, and then we get 1,000, between 1,050. So my answer would be C, which is 1,060. Right, it's the closest one to 1,050. 38, the length of a rectangular frame is 15 inches and the width is 8 inches. What is the length of the diagonal frame? So they're looking for this part right here. So this is a triangle right here, so we can use Pythagorean theorem, which is 15 squared plus 8 squared. Is going to give us our hypotenuse squared. So 15 squared plus 8 squared is 289. We do take the square root. We get 17. So 17 is this length in diagonal length, 17 inches. 39, which set of ordered pairs represents y as a function? We know here a function is when x's do not repeat, so let's look at all the x's. Here, -1s repeat and -2 repeats, so A is not my answer. B, we have a repetition here with the 3, so B is not my answer. Remember, we don't want x's to repeat. C, we got zeros. They're all repeating, so C is not my answer. Let me make sure D is correct. We have 0. All of these are individual numbers. They're all by themselves. So D is all by themselves, as in they're the only ones there. So D is our answer. 40, it says Gabrielle deposits $2,500 into each of two savings accounts. Account 1 earns 4% simple interest, and account 2 earns 4% compound interest. Gabrielle does not make any additional deposits or withdrawals. What is the sum of the balances of account 1 and account 2 at the end of 3 years? So for account 1, it's going to be simple interest, so that's going to give us that 2,500 times 0.04, because we want that 4% as a decimal, right? And that's how we get it, times 3 years. I get 2,000 times 0.04. Oh, that's not right. We get 300 for interest. Now we want the total amount at the end of the 3 years. So I'm going to add the interest plus the principal. I get 2,800. Okay, that's the total amount for account number 1. Account number 2 is compound interest, and that one's a little bit different. We haven't done that one yet. That's the one that looks like this. Like that, where we still have the principal. But then we have parentheses 1 plus our rate, which is 0.04. And then our time is an exponent of 3 because it's 3 years. Okay, so we put that in the calculator. The difference between simple and compound is that in compound, you don't have to do the last step that I did. We don't have to do this step anymore because it gives you the total amount at the end of the entire time. So once I put it in the calculator, that's all I need for it. So here, this is 2,812.16. I add both those numbers, so I got account number 2, account number 3. And we get G, 5,612 with 16 cents. 41, on a map scale, 2 inches represents 60 miles, which on a map scale, 2 inches represents 60 miles. Which graph best shows the relationship between x, the number of inches on a map, and y, the actual distance in miles? So here we have yx. Our y values are the miles, and our for our slope will rise over run, which is y over x. Our x's are inches, and I just find that because in every single one, all the y's are the same, and all the x's are the same, right? Inches for x's, and for the y, we have the miles. So we're going to use this right here to find our slope, which is, let's see, miles is 60 over 2 inches. Let's simplify that. 60 divided by 2, we get 30. So one thing we can do, if you don't want to do the extra step of just finding the slope, this is the meaning of 1 inch. 1 inch means is 30 miles. So if we go to 1, and then we go up, we know that's not 30, so I know A is not the answer. If we go to 1 and we go up, that could be 30, right? It's a little bit above 25, so I'm going to keep that as a contender. And 1 over here, it's almost 100, so B is not my answer. And then 1 over here is 125, which is definitely not my answer. So C is going to be the closest one to 30. I'm going to trust it and say that 30 is my answer. Sorry, that C is my answer. For 42, we have quadrilateral PQRS is translated 5 units to the right and 3 units up to create quadrilateral P prime, Q prime, R prime, and S prime, which will describe our this transformation. So we always start with XY because we start with XY, the ordered pair. Then we do that arrow to say that we're changing it. And since we're going to the right 5, the X value means that we're adding 5 to the X values. And since we're going up, we're adding 3 to the Y values. Okay, remember right is always plus, left is minus, up is plus, down is minus. And so here our answer would be G.